Hello Year 8. This is the solution to week 20, recall and retrieve. I'll be going through the first 4 questions. If you are here for the answers to questions 5 to question 8, then check the timestamp in the description below. So let's look at these first questions, starting with question 1. Question number 1, we have some raw data. There's a mode, median, mean and range to calculate. So the mode is the number that appears the most, which is 11.5 because it is the only number to appear twice. The median, well, remember the median is the number when the numbers are in order of size and it's the one in the middle. So we can see, because they are already in order of size, crossing one off each end, there are 2 numbers in the middle. So we need to find the exact middle of 4.1 and 10.1. There's a couple of ways of doing that, but by far the easiest way to find the in-between number of 2 numbers is to add them up, 14.2, and divide by 2. So the middle number is 7.1. To find the mean, we need to add them all up, and when you add all of those numbers up, it makes 42, and we are dividing by 6, which is 7. The range is the difference between the biggest and the smallest, and the biggest is 11.5. The smallest is 1.8, and 11.5 subtract 1.8 is 9.7. Question 2 is a prime factor tree. We need to write 525 as products of primes. It has already been started for us. 525 is 5 times 105. 105 is 21 times another 5. And what numbers multiply to make 21? That is 3 and 7. So remember, when you're writing it as a product of primes, we put the numbers in order. So we start with 3 times, there's 2 5s, so I can write that as 5 squared times 7. Question number 3 is a division with decimals. Of course, we know to do a division with decimals, we look for an equivalent calculation that will have the same answer. I want to divide by 23 because it's a little bit easier. So I am multiplying this number by 100, so I'm multiplying this number by 100, which is 1,334. So the answer to this question with decimals is equivalent to 1,334 divided by 23. So I'm going to use a short division method for this long division. But I'm just going to write my 23 times table down the side of my page just to help me out along the way. So all I'm doing is adding 23 as I go. So this one, adding another 23 would be 92. Then we've got 115. I'm just going to stop there and I'll add some more of the 23 times table if I need it. So 23 into 1 doesn't go, carry the 1. 23 into 13 still doesn't go, carry the 13. 23, well, I will add another 23 more onto this just so we can see. 23 into 133 goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But how many left over? Well, what's the difference between 133 and 115? Well, that is 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm going to need a little bit more of my 23 times table. So 161, 184. So 23 into 184 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So the answer to this is 58. Question number 4 is a Pythagoras question. But in this Pythagoras question, we are finding a shorter side. And you might remember that when you find a shorter side, you end up doing a subtraction. Anyway, I'm going to write a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I have a squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. A squared, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. To get a squared by itself, I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. So a squared is 9. Finally, a is the square root of 9, which is 3. Some of you might recall this as a Pythagorean triple that is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Question 5, we are working out the nth term of a linear sequence. This sequence is going down in threes, which immediately tells us it must be negative 3n for the first part of the sequence. However, negative 3n by itself does not start on 20. For the first term, negative 3 times 1 would be negative 3. So this sequence would be the negative 3 times table. To get it to start on 20, I need to add 23 back on. You may have written this as 23 minus 3n. It is the same thing. Question number 6. We have an isosceles triangle, which means if this angle is x, this angle here is also x. So what we need to know is, well, the angles in a triangle add up to 180. Let's see what is left for these two angles here. Well, 180 take away 122 is 58 degrees. So x must be 58 split equally into 2, which is 29 degrees. Question 7. Name the 3D shape based on its net. Well, there's two possibilities here. You might have written that it is a triangular based pyramid, and that is a perfectly acceptable answer. However, it does also have a more technical name for those people wanting to show off, which is a tetrahedron. Tetra is a prefix for 4, and hedron means a 3D shape. So this basically means a 4-faced 3D shape. Question number 8 is a little bit of substitution. A is negative 4, B is 1.5, C is 2.5. So this says work out 2 lots of B plus C. So let's do the bracket first. B plus C, 1.5 plus 2.5 is 4. Number in front of a bracket means multiply, so we've got to do 2 times 4, so this one's 8. We're doing 4 C's take away A. Well, 4 C's is 10. But we're going to have to be careful here because we are taking away negative 4. And remember, when you subtract a negative number, that is like adding. So that is 14. Part C is an eighth of A squared. Lots of things to be careful of here because we need to do A squared first and then find an eighth of it by dividing it by 8. Well, what is negative 4 squared? I'll write an eighth first. Negative 4 squared is negative 4 times negative 4. Negative multiplied by negative is positive. So negative 4 squared would be 16. And an eighth of 16 is 2. Finally, we've got the square root of B plus C. We did B plus C a moment ago. It was 4. We're doing the square root of 4, which is 2. Or if you're being really clever again, it's positive or negative 2. So, how did you get on?